Welcome back to If You Even Care. I made a choice today in putting on this sweater before I recorded. And this is me just trying to sit in that. And I'm not going to go change like I really, really want to because I'm looking at myself. If I look in the viewfinder, I feel like I'm going to go to Bible study. I did also put a cross necklace on, and that didn't really help. But I feel like if you saw me on the street in this, you know, my cherubic features, normally, if someone wants to ask for directions to go somewhere, or like they want to find a stranger to walk up to and say something really weird, which happens a lot, like they just want to tell somebody that they hate their ex-husband, they usually will come to me. But I feel like in this sweater, there's something about stripes on me where I'm like, you wouldn't come, you'd be like, I am lost, yeah, and I don't know where I'm going, but I'm not about to ask Stripes over there. I'm not about to go up and ask the Hamburglar if she knows how I should get from point A to point B. I don't like it, but we're here. We just had the most insane, gorgeous weather, the nicest weather. It was like almost warm out for a weekend, and I felt like I was in my body for the first time since like November, so that was nice. And now I'm comfortably in a turtleneck, so that's done. But and I know I just brought this up, so I know what I'm saying when I say it. I can't talk about it anymore. I cannot talk about how insane the weather is anymore. Yes, and it's been this way for a very long time. It's like one of those things where like almost any state you go to, people are going to be like, I mean, you know, Maine, the weather is unpredictable. Yeah, girl, and everywhere, every fucking where. Because we're all saying the same shit. Yes, the earth is falling apart. Like it's insane. I can't talk about it anymore. I can't, unless it's acknowledging something like, okay, we're finally getting sun, we're finally getting warm weather. We're actually having a nice day for the first time in a while. I cannot talk about these big snowstorms that keep, they keep not happening or not being as big as they say they're going to be. Every time someone talks to me about a snowstorm that's coming, it's not like they're even doubting it. It's like with this certainty that it's going to be a blizzard. Something catastrophic is hitting the East Coast. I cannot do it anymore. I can't talk about the weather anymore. I just don't care. There are some things I cannot bring myself to care about. That's going on the list with highways. Don't fucking talk to me about construction that's happening on a highway. I don't care. I could have sat in traffic for 5 hours because of that construction, and I still don't want to talk about it. And I say all of this, and I say it passionately, knowing that if someone came up to me and wanted to talk about any of those things, I absolutely would, 100%, and I wouldn't even hold it against that person, and I wouldn't even seem like I don't want to talk about it, because that's just rude. That's like, people say, I hate small talk and whatever. So if someone comes up to you and they make small talk, like to be polite, are you going to be a dick to them because that person didn't know somehow innately that you don't like small talk? No, you're still going to be nice, but you hate it. Like, you cannot like it. I don't know what someone who hates small talk would want me to talk about with them if I didn't really know them. Like, I guess this is small talk. I guess the weather and like construction on a highway is small talk. It's just very specific things. I do not know where the I-95 is. I don't know. And I'm sure I've been on it hundreds of times. But I don't know what you're talking about. I still use Waze to get around my own town. Anyway, as I'm recording this right now, my subscriber count on YouTube is sitting at 499. So, which is really scary. If somebody told me that I was standing before the doors to a room with 499 people in it, I would not go into that room. But if someone told me there's 499 people in that room, there are places to sit. There's like a spot where you could put your purse down so you don't have to carry it the whole time. And it's pretty spacey. So like everyone's not like bunched together. And there's a pretty good chance, like a pretty high probability that you would get along with just about any person in that room. I would consider going in. I most likely would go in that room and see what's going on with 499 people. So that's really cool. And to whoever becomes subscriber number 500, I will be taking you out for a day, an undisclosed date, to an undisclosed location. I'll reach out to you and you don't have to do anything further from here. You'll kind of just find yourself where you need to be. And that's not, you don't have to get it because that's not really for anybody except for subscriber number 500. But we're going to key, okay? We're going to have a time. So be ready. Be almost in a permanent state of being ready, because I cannot tell you, again, undisclosed date to an undisclosed location, but a time will be had. So thank you guys. Thank you to anybody who's subscribed. It means a great deal to me. Now on the menu for today, I want to just do like a notes app dump, just go through a bunch of shit I've written down. I keep everything in one massive note. Every little thought that I have throughout the week, and I don't separate them by month, and they're not organized. So I'm just going to kind of go from the top down. You know, old school. This is what like most of these episodes have been, honestly. It's just me just going through this exact same note. Wait, why am I scared? Wait, guys, literally, why am I scared right now? First one says new Pokemon starters. I would die for Pombon. If you don't care about Pokemon at all, I get it. But even if you don't like it, sometimes people like to just see pictures of them because they're cute. So I'll put them on the screen in case you're one of those people. You just want to see. You're curious, but you're not really invested in it. They gave us 3 new starters for Gen 10, and they're so fucking cute. We've got Cunty Gecko and Angry Bird and Fire Pomeranian. And something that Pokemon loves to do is they love to take something cute, put it on 4 legs, as it should be, and then give it evolutions where suddenly it's standing on 2 legs, and normally it's like, you know, a little bit like arms crossed, or like it's supposed to look tough. So they take like cute thing and then make it into standing on 2 legs, humanoid warrior type of thing. And I kind of just want something to stay cute. Can it just stay cute? Can it just stay on all 4? Would that be okay? Back to the note. Why would there be a Jim Carrey clone? What would they gain? I'm sure you guys have seen this, or at least seen somebody talking about it, but Jim Carrey accepted an award and he looked very different than usual. His eyes looked a little more open than normal, like wider, and or like his eyelid had been lifted, like an upper bleph almost. His face looked a little bit fuller, a little bit puffier. Maybe puffy isn't a good word, just fuller. Almost like he gained weight, or like his face was just kind of lifted. And people were also saying that he didn't sound like himself. Like his cadence was a little off, his tone, like he didn't normally talk like that. I can't say that I've watched many Jim Carrey interviews, so that's for eagle-eyed fans, I guess, to like notice all these things. You could look at him and say, okay, something seems different from the last time I saw him, and maybe not be able to pinpoint it. But when it comes to like the way he was speaking, I don't know. That's for like true Carrey fans or whatever. But why would it be a clone? That was what people were saying, that they think he's been cloned. A makeup artist named Alexis Stone came out and tried to say that they turned themselves into Jim Carrey using like prosthetics and makeup, and that was them at the award. Jim Carrey's publicist came forward and said, no, it wasn't. That's not true. That was definitely Jim Carrey there. He'd been preparing to accept this award in French for like a long time. And Alexis Stone never actually showed themselves putting on the prosthetics and makeup. They posted what looked like an AI generated photo of prosthetics that were meant to look like Jim Carrey's face. If somebody went through all that trouble, they 100% would have made a TikTok of themselves putting that shit on. So it is most likely Jim Carrey himself. When I see someone that I don't even see that often, it's not like we see Jim Carrey all the time. He's just always out. He's making TikToks. He's like constantly posting himself. When I see a celebrity I haven't seen for a long time and they look a little different, I can't say I go to clone. I cannot say that my mind jumps to, well, they created a clone of this person and the clone's job is to be here because that person's dead. Because why would they do that? Because why would it be a clone? And if they were going to clone somebody, why the fuck would it be Jim Carrey? Why would they do that? Who's they? Who is cloning Jim Carrey? And do they have some kind of like process for aging the clones? Like, are they cloning them in a way where that person is replicated being almost about the same age as that other person? And they're teaching them how to speak like that person? Or is the idea that the clone just comes out of, I don't know, the giant pod full of liquid that they were born in, and they just know how to speak like them immediately because they have the same brain, because they're cloning not just how the person looks, but also their brain. So they have all the same knowledge that Jim Carrey has and all the same memories, and they know several languages. So that's pretty cool. It's because he's dead, which why would we not just mourn him? Why would we clone him? What would we gain? I think some people want life to be like high fantasy or sci-fi, and they just want to believe in fantastical things, which you can find other things. Girl, pull a tarot card. Find something else. You got to find another avenue because we're going to clone Jim Carrey. We can clone. We cloned Dolly. Wasn't that her name? The sheep? And I'm sure that we could apply that same thing to human beings. I feel pretty confident in saying it's probably not a perfect process, and that in the year of 2026, we probably wouldn't have clones so good. Human clones, so good, we're willing to put them on a red carpet and let them speak, pretending to be a celebrity. Why would that be true? It makes me feel a little bit crazy. Like, I'm reading comments under one of the videos of Jim Carrey talking, and one of the top liked comment just goes, "They got him." Who got him? What does getting him imply? What they get about him? Who's they? Is this like Hollywood got to him and now he's full of filler and got threads? Or is this like the Illuminati got a hold of him, cloned him so that they could torture and eat the real Jim Carrey? Obviously. What do we think is happening? But this is like, you got to think about the kind of people that really, truly, in their heart of hearts, believe that Elvis is somewhere on a beach. That Tupac is still out there. And in fact, not just still out there, but looks exactly the same as he did when he was alive, which he still is, of course, and never changed anything about his facial hair, still dresses the same. So once in a while, they get a glimpse of a bald man somewhere who looks like him, and they're like, here he is. And I believe what I'm posting. I'm posting this photo of a man who somewhat resembles Tupac from a distance, and because no one else could ever have similar features. And He's in Cancun, looking exactly the same way as he did when he died, because he wanted to go off the grid to protect himself, or because he didn't want to be famous anymore, or whatever it was, and he changed nothing about his appearance, which would mean that people would go to him and be like, holy shit, Tupac, I thought you died. I guess I would genuinely rather these people, like these kinds of conspiracy theorists, fixate on shit like this, like Jim Carrey being cloned, than like trying to say that Sandy Hook didn't happen or something like that. Like, let's just keep them preoccupied. We're just throwing them a bone here and there. But it's still, it's one of those things that you see it and you're like, oh, there are, just because I don't come into contact with people like this often doesn't mean that there aren't hundreds of thousands, if not millions of you. Probably more like hundreds of thousands. I can't get into the millions. That's very likely, but I can't think about that. That's not something I'm ready for at this time. So I'll just say hundreds of thousands, because that's like not a real number, and that doesn't really, I haven't processed that. I'm just saying a no, like that's a wide range. So why would they clone him? I'm telling you, it's like the place that it comes from is almost sweet. It's almost like, I wish life was Star Wars. I wish that Lord of the Rings was real. And then they just want to like latch on to things that are just so, like, not to say that cloning isn't real, but like what they're implying, there's no way we're even close to that. I know that we don't know everything. We don't know like what people who have more money and power and access than us are able to do. I feel confident in saying it's not cloning Jim Carrey. But to think like that, that's so whimsical. Like, that's, if these are the kinds of people who weren't like talking about crisis actors, I would find that kind of sweet to just want to believe in fantasy shit. But I wrote, I've never had a high school army recruiter try to convince me to enlist, or had someone try to indoctrinate me into a religion, but I've had several people try to recruit me into polyamory. What does that mean? That's not something I'm ready to... I wasn't ready 2 weeks ago when I wrote it down. I'm not ready now. Maybe it means nothing. It probably means nothing. Or it could mean everything. If I got a letter saying that I've been accepted into Hogwarts, I would go off the grid. I wrote that down because I did a Harry Potter marathon. I have not watched those movies in years, and I don't really remember much about most of them. That was one of the first book series I ever read, was the Harry Potter books. And I remember at the time I read every single one of them. And it just didn't like do it for me. I think it's because I didn't get into fantasy until like a couple of years ago, like really into fantasy. What I've realized about myself is that I like my fantasy to be somewhat serious. I don't like when it's too silly. And Harry Potter fantasy, there's nothing wrong with it, except for J.K. Rowling. Fuck J.K. Rowling. Fuck you. Fuck you. But like the world itself being silly, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't stick with me. To have read all the books at an age when like anything that I read, I was like, I'm going to pretend to be Bella Swan at school this week. And I was pretty young when I read the first one, and then I just continued on. But it was one of those things where I read it because I started the series and I wanted to finish it. I wanted to see it through. But I wasn't like, I want to go to Hogwarts. And then watching the movies back, I'm like, yeah. Yes, of course I didn't want to go to Hogwarts. Fuck that. If I had an owl come to my home, which, first of all, do not send an owl to me. I have no reason to be seen with an owl. I have no reason to be associating with an owl. Beautiful creatures. I have no reason to be near an owl, ever. But an owl comes to me, gives me a letter. I've been accepted into the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Take that, double it, give it to the next person. I want no parts. I'm not going. You can't make me. I'm not going. What the fuck am I going to do at Hogwarts? The school is called Hogwarts. I am not going there. I promise you. I'm not going to something called Hogwarts. This is probably an OCD thing, just to go on like a side tangent, but it has to be because it's something. How about that? I don't know what it is, but this was something. Warts freaked me out so badly. Like, the word makes me feel a little bit ill. But when I was a kid, my friend got a wart on her finger and she told me about it and she showed it to me. This was my best friend and we lived like right next to each other. So we used to play together every day. She tells me that it's contagious and she has to keep a Band-Aid on it because she could end up giving me a wart. And I could not handle that. I was like, girl, like, I love you. I cannot play with you right now. I have to go home. It made me feel so physically ill. Like, the idea of like skin bubbling like that, even with the Band-Aid on, like knowing it was there, I was so terrified of getting it. They still make me feel a little bit sick, but like in a more reasonable way now. But as a kid, I was like, the thought of getting bitten by a mosquito, the thought of a mosquito sucking blood out of me was enough to make me like have a full-blown panic attack. The thought of a wart, something bubbling my skin. There were certain things that I just could not deal with, and that was one of them. So I was like, I cannot see you. I'm so sorry. We had like a whole Littlest Pet Shop storyline that was going on. We were really, really into it at the time, but I was like, I'm going to have to postpone that. It's going to have to be put off for a little bit because I can't get a wart. I don't know how this works. I don't know if it's airborne. She didn't know either. She just knew she had to keep a Band-Aid on it. And that it could be spread. I couldn't risk it. So I did not talk to my best friend for like over a week. I could not do it. There was a kid that threw up in class one time. I couldn't look him in the eyes for the rest of the year. There was something about me, and I'll say OCD, but like, I am open to suggestions. I don't know what that was, but it's not nearly as bad now, but like, she's still there. Like, sometimes when people pass me wearing open-toed shoes, people being mostly men, I hold my breath while they're walking by because their feet are out. I'm just being honest with you, and I don't like that I'm saying this in this fucking sweater because I feel like the sweater makes me look bitchy. I feel bitchy in this sweater, and now I'm saying something that sounds bitchy, but like, it's not coming from like a mean place. It's not malicious. It's just, you know what I mean? It's all up here. I guess I'm just crazy. I'm just fucking crazy. I don't like things that plenty of other people in the world don't like. That lots of people don't like feet. Lots of people, actually, almost everyone doesn't like throw up. If you do, you're a pervert. And like warts, who likes a wart? It's just, it's more than just being like, oh, I don't like that. It's like feeling like I need to remove myself from it because I'm going to have like a panic attack if I'm around it. But back to Harry Potter. So I did the movie marathon, and the whole time I kept thinking about what it would be like to be any other student that goes to this school and how fucking terrifying that would be. Genuinely terrifying. Never knowing what's going to happen. You've got trolls. You've got a giant snake in the wall. Outside the school, there's all kinds of shit happening. And then sometimes it gets inside the school. No, I don't think I'll go. No, thank you. I'm not hungry. No, I'm not hungry. No, but I hope someone else can take my spot. I hope that they enjoy. Harry Potter is so OP. Like, I understand whatever. He's supposed to be OP. He's the main character. That's how he was made. And he's got the scar on his forehead. And okay. But like, if these books or if these movies had taken place from Hermione's point of view, sometimes she's off just doing some shit and then like joins back up. And what she was doing sounded way cooler or more interesting than what Harry was getting up to. I'm just like, and also, can I say this? Is it been long enough? Is it okay now? Very poor acting on Daniel's part. And I know that part was like a huge part of his life. I say that with no disrespect to Daniel Radcliffe, who will of course be hearing this and he'll hear what I'm saying, because I always send every episode to him. Nothing about it, nothing about the classes, none of it appeals to me. There's nothing that I was like, oh, this is awesome. I don't want to go to herbalism. I don't want to be around anything that's going to kill me. I don't want to fight with fucking spells. I don't want to do potions. I don't like the whimsy. I don't like, the fucking things that can turn into other things. And also I could die at any time. I could just die. I could just be killed by something, like a random creature, like with a silly name, or like a Death Eater. There's something called a Death Eater. I'm good. And I'm willing to live in like England to not have to go to Hogwarts. That's fine. I'm an English kid and I'm willing to stay in fucking in England. I will stay in the UK if it means I don't have to go there. You could end up on a moving staircase while you're several stories up. You could just be on a staircase and then it shifts, goes to a different wall, and you could be on it in the middle of it while that happens. You could be in the Great Hall eating, I don't even know, I feel like they had a lot of candy on the table all the time, a lot of pastries. That's awesome. Or you could be eating fucking bangers and mash with ghosts floating all around you, harassing you, making fun of you. You're walking past paintings, they have something rude to say. Oh, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from a live painting. It's like you're constantly being perceived 24/7. That's a nightmare. And you're going through puberty. So all of this, chocolate frogs and moving staircases and like wolf whistling paintings or whatever the fuck, and my breasts are developing. No, thank you. What business do I have being in that world? None. I would be pissed. Literally, what the fuck am I going to do? I'm going to wait until I'm of legal age and crack Hagrid, and then what? and now that that's done, now what? Oh, I'm just going to go back to the regular world, but I'm also a wizard. What is everybody, what's part of the movies that I miss where they explain this? It was probably a book thing. What do you do if you go to the school and you get out, you graduate, and you go back to the regular world where you cannot go around using magic? What do I do? Why the fuck did I do all that? Was the end goal truly to crack Hagrid? Probably, because what am I going to do with that? And now I'm a manager at Subway, and I know how to make things levitate. And I've seen a unicorn. I've flown on a fucking hippogriff. So ended my marathon with the exact same opinion I had when I was young, which is, I get it. I see why people like it. I understand the appeal. It just doesn't appeal to me. It's just not my kind of fantasy. And now I need to do a Lord of the Rings marathon. That's next for me, because I can't believe I've never seen the movies. Well, I have, but I was really young and I don't remember anything about them. So I read The Hobbit when I was a kid. That sucked. Not that the book sucked. That's not what I'm saying. I don't remember anything about it. The process of reading the book sucked. I did not enjoy myself at all. I barely understood what I was reading. I was really young, probably too young to be reading that book, and like actually absorb anything. People are unking themselves into a life of misery. Yeah. The way that people are talking about age now is setting everyone up for a fucking panic attack on their 29th birthday. People are going to do that whole like, pushing 30, by the way. so much that on their 29th birthday, they will be curled in a ball, hugging their knees, having a fucking panic attack, thinking that their life has come to an end because they stepped 1 foot into the grave at like 25, which is so ridiculous. So, like, when you look at the people around you, the people who you admire or look up to or just enjoy, when you look at like the people that you follow on social media, whose music you listen to, the people that you like to watch on YouTube while you're eating lunch, the people who you would look at and you don't go, wow, fucking old, old, or you don't think about their age at all because you just enjoy what they do or what they make or whatever. If you look at a lot of those people and look up their ages, you'd be surprised how many people you had no idea were in their 30s or damn near, and they're still living their life. And they're not invisible yet. You know, they're not fucking unk status. Like, if you believe that your life ends at 30, that 30 is old, you may as well step 1 foot in the grave at 25. Just go ahead and get into that casket for me. You want to stop your life short? That's stupid. That's a really, really dumb decision to make. To just decide that you only get 20 something years of life. Because at some point, like at 26 years old, people are saying, pushing 30, by the way. But they're not 30. And then when they are 30, they're just going to be them, but 30. Like 30 is this fucking cutoff to a lot of, and I know a lot of these people are like teenagers or like 20 years old, but it's not. Like, it's not how that works. Seriously, look at the world around you. Sometimes I have to do this for myself too. As you're aging, start to follow people who are significantly older than you so that you can remind yourself that you can live a full life. You can still like the things that you like as you get older. You can still, if you're into the arts, you can still be seen. You don't have to become invisible just because you're fucking 35, because you're 40 something years old. That's not how that works. That's a mental block. That's like something that we put on ourselves. And then there's a part of it, which is society, especially women. They like for you to just go bye-bye when you get old enough. Like, you've got crow's feet, girl, go home. But you don't have to do it. You don't have to go home. You could go, no, I think I'm going to stay. I think I'm good right here. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is an example of someone who has a podcast that's specifically about interviewing older women. Because they still deserve to be seen and they still deserve to be heard, and they have something of value to add. Like, they have worth, even though they're older, even though they've exceeded 30. Like, when Vanilla Mace hits 30, is she just going to go extinct? I don't think so. Seems to me like this is not even her peak yet. Like, there's further to go. Same thing with Drew Afwalo. That's the same, like, she's 30. She's still here. She has a best-selling book. She's going to put out more books. She's going to do more red carpets. She's going to interview more big names. Like, there's only more. Julia Wolf. She just popped off last year. I know some people might have already known her music, but she had a really, really big break last year when a lot of us found her. That's when I found her. And she's 30. Seems to me like she still hasn't even reached the peak of her career yet. Like, she's got a whole other part of her life to live now in the public eye with like a lot more attention on her and a lot more money and resources. And it's not just people who are, you know, famous or have a following. It's also people like around you. Like, do you think less of your own mother or like family members because they've aged? I personally don't. And I don't feel bad for them either. I don't look at my mother and feel sorry for her because she's not in her 20s anymore. I look at her and I see a whole person who's lived a whole life and still has more to live. And I don't think I'm ever going to stop looking at her like that. I think many people who do that whole, you know, pushing 30, obsessing over their age, doing all this anti-aging shit at like 20 years old, which if it makes you feel good and that's part of your skincare routine, that's fine. But like, worrying about aging that young. I think a lot of people will be shocked when they do reach the end of their 20s and they still like a lot of the same things that they did at 20. When they still like to collect the same thing, when they still like colorful furniture, when they still like putting on a cute outfit or keeping up with trends, you know? When they still like the same video games or the same blind boxes or the same whatever the fuck, when they still want to be a part of things, you're going to have to go through it. Unless you literally want your life to be cut off at that mark, you're going to have to keep going, and you're going to keep being a person, and you're most likely going to like a lot of the same shit that you did before. And you don't have to walk around telling people your fucking age if you don't want to. It's just a thing that's going to be in your head, and you're going to have to keep going, oh, can I still do this at this age or do that at that age? Because you spent so long talking about other people, what they can or can't do because of how old they are, things that they just enjoy. What's appropriate, like deciding that at an age you haven't even reached yet, that you're going to put those same expectations on yourself. You're going to expect yourself to not want to be on social media, to not want to, watch the same people you used to watch or enjoy the same things you used to enjoy. And that might not be the case. It will for some things, but some things will be evergreen and you're just always going to like them, and you don't have to become an entirely different person. It's that thing of like the way you talk about other people and the way that you talk about things becomes the way that you feel about yourself. And if you obsess over age, when you start to see yourself age, you're going to have a fucking mental breakdown. You're going to have a breakdown every single day of your life. There are going to be some birthdays where you cry. I know I've had them where like you're getting up there in your 20s and you start to be like, damn, 26. Okay. I'm just going to spend my birthday crying in bed and then maybe do something the next day when I get over it. Because at some point you have to get over it. But it doesn't have to be this whole thing that you build yourself up to where you're going to feel like life is going to end at the end of your 20s. You don't have to be so cruel towards other people about it either, because it's something that's like unavoidable. What are you going to do? If you're here, you're going to age. It's just a stupid fucking thing that I keep seeing. If this puts anyone's mind at ease about aging, I think you can be 30 and not have to wear a blazer. I think we've come far enough. I think we've reached a point, it's 2026. I think you could turn 30 and you could say, I don't want to wear a blazer and light wash jeans. I don't want to. The world is different now. I think that you could walk past an express and you might turn and glance real quick, peek at a mannequin, but I think that you could go, I don't want to. Hey, not today. I think I'm good. But do not look at your blazer and jean wearing sisters and shake your head. Often 20-somethings will look down upon blazer and jeans together. They'll exchange meaningful glances when the blazer is cropped. They agree it's from Shein. However, this collusion does not save them from walking into an express. It could be any of us. Any one of us. You never know. You could be going out for a nice drink with some girlfriends and you could just... You know what would really go with these light wash jeans? A hot pink blazer. And I would not think less of you for it. I just think we have a say now. We have less reason to be afraid. Maybe we have a choice in the matter. And that's going to have to be it for right now because it is very dark in here. And I already know that the footage is going to get really grainy. So, but... that's the end of the episode. Okay, goodbye.